A la 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 la. A la 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 la. Aquí hay pelea. Salsa y con el son. Llámale lo que le llames, dile lo que tú quieras. Es un elixir y es de primera. Llámale lo que le llames, dile lo que tú quieras. Es un elixir y es de primera. La musiquita buena está en el aire, pa' ti y pa' mí. Cógele el estribillo y no te queda fuera. Llámale lo que le llames, dile lo que tú quieras. Es un elixir y es de primera. Cuando canta, el autor la libera, así como un ave, hay pa' que vuela donde sea. Llámale lo que le llames, dile lo que tú quieras. Es un elixir. Y es de primera. A la 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 la. Eso es. Thank you. That is the title track of the new Ola Fresca album, Elixir. And it's the third album that I have produced with this band, which has been in existence for just over 10 years now. So we Independent Music Awards in 2007 for the best with an album called Evolución, and this is what they were listening to back then. Then I discovered rock and roll. At least commercial rock, for those days. Around 1990, I went and tried out for a band. I was a kid. And they had me sing this song from a new wave group that I'd never heard before. And it was this tune. On cassette decks. Mind when I heard it. And I started breakdancing, I mean, my songs, I'll give them away for free, so you'll be able to get them. that was um, at one point when I was at Berkeley, I was it was a great time of exploration. I think like anybody has in school anywhere. Again, I'm reaching for my culture. I'm trying to find my road. I'm trying to find my path, because being in a member of the diaspora, this affects this affects you. Where did I come from? What is my path? I felt like there was some serious cultural confusion going on. And then I went to Cambridge one night, and I wound up seeing a group called Yoruba Andabo play um, rumba, and it was just one of the most profound experiences ever. Interesting, because that night I met two people that I would go on to collaborate with for many years, and would become very great friends, dear to me in New York City. One of them was the great dancer Pupi Insua, and he passed away a couple years ago. Que descanse en paz, Pupi, te recordamos. And Román Diaz is one of the most incredible percussionists in the world today. And he is a collaborator on my current record. And it's just funny how you go out one night and you meet somebody who's going to be a friend for life. But this is Yoruba Andabo. Rumba. La rumba es muy poderosa. La rumba es todo, la rumba es vida. La rumba es naturaleza. Rumba is nature, I guess one of the things that I'm omitting is that as a kid growing up in Miami, I was very much impressed with the sky, with the smell of the ocean everywhere, with the Everglades, with alligators, with birds. Yeah, I'm a big fan of nature. And when I hear nature in music, it's just instant. The power of the sound is just instantaneous. So rumba became a very, very big influence, and once I heard this, I couldn't turn back. I had to dive in very deep into Cuban music, into la pura cepa, into the music from the island, and I did, and I did it through records. I just started eating up everything that came my way, voraciously, and I started transcribing the music. I still didn't understand it. It took me many, many years to be able to compose in this style and to bring in something else. But I was listening to stuff like this. Danzón. This one recorded by Pablo Milanés. Pensamiento de la fragancia que yo la quiero, que no la puedo olvidar, que ella vive en mi alma, anda y vive así. This was one of my favorite tunes when I first heard it, and a few years later they recorded it on the Buena Vista Social Club record. So I was happy to have more opportunities to listen to it. And then when you study about this song and who wrote it, Francisco Repilado is a guy that grew up in Guantanamo, immersed in the tradition of the music. He was an innovator. He created his own guitar, which a lot of these older guys did. He wrote hundreds and hundreds of songs. He was also a hairdresser. And one of my favorite writers. I really paid attention to how different writers tell their stories and the rhetoric that they're using. It's a very particular choice. And when you really get deep into the music, everybody has their own thing that they're bringing, their own style. And here in the United States, Cuban music on the Diaspora, one of the things is that people don't listen to lyrics. I am a musician nowadays. I'll go and play, and people don't understand what I'm saying. But it's a very different thing when you're forming or public, and it's not necessarily people that understand. It's just people that are tuned in. They have to understand Spanish, and they have to tune in. They will react immediately to certain things that you're saying, and then there's a lot of call on improvisation in music. So what you're saying change from show to show, and from public to public. Like I might use space in my improvisation. So this was all new to me because it wasn't a part of the tradition here. Anyways, I was trying to figure out all this out on guitar, and I was listening to a combination of rumba and old son, and really becoming enamored and again, Cuban music. We talk about Cuban music. There's a lot of different kinds of Cuban music. It's a very wide umbrella when you get into it. So you have changui from Guantanamo. You have many different. You have rumba de La Habana, rumba de Matanzas, rumba ahora today you have rap rumba. And I was really digging music from the country, which is called guajira. So we all know the song Guajira Guantanamera. A guajira is a woman from the campo, from the countryside. And guajira is a whole style of country music, Cuban country music. So this is one of the first guajiras that I heard. And it has that space, that natural quality. Now where's the clave in this? You hear where the bass is accenting, it was really difficult for me to find. It was really difficult for me to find where the clave was, and this is part of really learning the music, is that you have to be able to sing and play and compose in clave. Now, this might sound like gibberish to people. Gibberish to me. It's like, what does that really mean, to play in clave? Well, the only thing I can tell you is like your body has a skeleton. Clave is the skeleton for Cuban music, and the music is accented by the clave. So if the bass line here is going boom, ding, ding, doo, boom, boom, Ding ding, do ding dong. The music is going one. The time is 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Ding ding ding. Dum 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. But the clave is here. Dum ding ding. Dum dum. Ding ding. Dum dum. Ding ding. Dum dum. Ding ding. Dum dum. Is how you would end it with the clave. So ding ding dum dum. Figure that out. Just key this music. And the first recording that I made of Cuban music was the same song. This is my version. Tú verás como quieren los guajiros, tú verás. Tú verás como quieren los guajiros, tú verás. Aquí desde mi bohío miro el verdor de los montes, oigo trinar de sinsontes. Voy a cantarte, amor mío, hoy esta alegre canción de un guajiro laborioso. Róbate un rato de ocio para que es mi inspiración. Tú verás como quieren los guajiros, tú verás. Tú verás como quieren los guajiros, tú verás. So there it was. I was 30 years old, and I had come full circle from Burundanga to Son Cubano. And one of my teachers in Miami once told me, John Giorgini, I will never forget this. Somebody asked him, like, when do you stop being a student of music? He's like, kid, you never stop being a student. You're always learning something new. Well, that was actually the beginning of my education that day. And I recently heard another quote is somebody said, "Till you're 40." So, hey, I hadn't even been born yet, actually. So, and then, I grew up in Miami, which was very, very much of a right-wing town. The reaction that the Cuban community in Miami had with everything that had happened in to Los Bambang. Well, I finished Berkeley in 1995, and I went back home, and I was there for about 6 months before I moved to New York City. And I went to this place called Palacio de los Jugos on 57th and Flagler, and this place was amazing. They had guarapo, they had mamey, they had lechon asado, all the goodies. And then I noticed that they had this record up that they were selling, and the record was by Los Bambang, who I had always heard was like the devil, And I was like, yes, give me some Los Bambang. And I bought the record, and again, it just blew me away because Los Bambang, it was the group was doing something that was funky, it was pop, it had rock elements, and it was also swinging in clave, and it had African elements. And then there were these texts. Every record that you will ever find of Los Bambang, they somehow are able to write music that is, it's almost like street music. It's things that you will tell your neighbor. It's very, what's the word? Quotidian. So, yeah, this is probably their most famous song. Sandunga! Sandunguera! You know this song? Yeah? Sandunguera, se te va por encima la cintura. No te muevas más así, que te vas por encima del nivel. They actually flip it around. It's funny. Yeah, Los Bambang was a revelation. Yet another, on this journey. I love when that happens. Well, it turns out that the son of the founder of Los Bambang would become one of the first Cuban musicians that I met in New York, and one of my great friends. And he is now, after his father passed away, unfortunately, a couple years ago, Juan Carlos is touring and playing with Los Bambang. And I'll play it later, but in my new record, I recorded a song by Juan Carlos Formel, my friend. So, another like little piece of serendipity, that is just, priceless. So then the first song that I actually wrote was a song that I was, I think I started writing ideas for this probably in a journal while I was at Berkeley, because I was missing, and I've always had a very great impression of, I don't know, I'm playing basketball or playing football in the street, and then I come home and you smell this incredible aroma of rice and beans. And actually, not the rice and beans, that's actually the black beans, because that's, the black, my mother would start the black beans and they would cook all day, and it's just an incredible aroma. And she was such a great cook, so I wrote this song for her, and it's called Ay Que Rico. And flash forward, after I recorded that demo, Romance Guajiro, I started getting work in New York when I got to New York. And I was doing a combination of different things, but every time I would play a Cuban song or a song in Spanish, I realized that I felt like I was at home doing that. And it was also something that, people enjoyed much more than my songs in English, which were kind of like, I don't know, just introverted and, very pensive and, but I wrote this song and, I wound up writing an album's worth of material, and we recorded it in 2003 and put it out in 2004. So the album is called Ay Que Rico, and this is the title track. Well, on that record, I was torn between doing something that was really traditional Cuban, like writing really traditional Cuban songs, and then, also exploring music in a different way. Do You Dance on 3? This song is inspired by, going out dancing and asking a woman to dance, and you worry about the steps, but you also want to, just like not think about whether you're starting on the 1 or on the 2. So this was going back, just like, screw it. I'm going to break all the schemes and do something crazy and write a song called Do You Dance on 3? So this song is in 3, so it's an experiment of sorts. It's funk in the rhythm of 3, but then I take the idea of clave and I put the clave in a 3 beat, and yeah, that's as best as I can describe it. It's kind of like a game with time. So this was 2004, and people were still buying CDs then. This was before Spotify, and it was before iTunes really took off, and digital music, and I had a lot of faith in being an independent musician and doing it DIY, and I had really started to hit my stride, and I felt like I had started to find something, and people started buying this record, and I got great reviews, and we toured, and I wound up opening for Bob Dylan and Angelique Kidjo in Janice Jazz Aspen, huge gig. It was just crazy. It's like, wow. Definitely wasn't ready for that with this music, especially. But everything changed, and one of the big differences of being a Cuban musician in the diaspora and being a musician in Cuba. And I was having this conversation with somebody recently, but once you're a professional musician, yes, you want to make music and be artistic and do. You want to do what you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to go out and do anything that is quote unquote selling out just to make a buck. But you want to make a living. You have to. We all seek sustainability. In Cuba, once you have the process there is very different. It's almost like the government is the record label, and they have very, very strict standards to who gets into bands, to who gets allowed to put out records, and the standards are they're obviously the music that is in development, or musicians that are in development. Like I figure, I realize, all this time, pre-2005, really, I've been in development, and I've had to find my own way, and I've had zero help, from cultural organizations, and it's because I did get a scholarship, partial scholarship, many people, but just getting your music out there and trying to figure out, these are choices that we make on our own here. So that's one of the big differences. And when I did this record, and even the next record, I was just thinking, like, I'm just going to put stuff out that, that I want. I was just all about exploring. I wasn't thinking about what is a commercial record. What I wound up doing is, again, the band Ola Fresca. I wound up, I did make one consolation, and that is that Ola Fresca, I think, is more, I want to express it more as a dance band. So any experimentation that I do is going to be with that particular palette of instruments, wherever that band is, And then I want to do a solo project where I just do a lot of electronic stuff, and I experiment to my heart's content. Be hitting hard. One of those experiments, I was so I made a list from the meters to play on this song, and it's just a crazy fusion. So it's Japanese and Spanish, and Diaspora. It's un arroz con mango. It's all over the place, but it's still very, very Cuban. It's still very mambo oriented in a way. Cuban musician. There's a museum in and they're fusing. It's almost as if people are trying to put their flags down on